Many do not comprehend that the alcoholic is a very sick person, and besides, we are sure that our way of living has its advantages for all.
Alcoholics Anonymous and other organizations combating alcoholism are gaining ground, bringing to the public a sense of the true nature of the problem through such spokesmen as the director of the National Committee for Education on Alcoholism, Mrs. Marty Mann.
Alcoholism has too long been a taboo subject, just as tuberculosis used to be 40 years ago. We're trying to teach people the truth, that alcoholism is a disease, and that because it is a disease, it should have no stigma attached to it. Alcoholics should be dealt with like other sick persons, in hospitals and clinics, not in jails.
It starts with the belief that addiction is a chronic, progressive, fatal disease which you will die from unless you get treatment and go to 12-step meetings.
AA told me that I had an incurable progressive disease that was always doing push-ups, meaning it was always getting worse even when I wasn't drinking. It really did a number on me.
Of course, it's not a disease. A disease is something like polio or emphysema.
When you truly enter a 12-step fellowship, the idea is that I recognize that I will never be capable by myself of solving this problem. And I will always need a sponsor, a group, and a higher power in order to do it.
When I went to these places, my sense was I was going to have to live among this population for the rest of my life. I was going to meetings daily. Everybody was telling me if I don't go to meetings every day, I'm going to end up using. I'm going to end up back in the street. I'm going to end up going to prison again.
What we say repeatedly, the addiction is not you. And what does AA say? The first thing you have to say is, I am an alcoholic. You have to declare.
A behavior cannot be a disease because there's something that causes the behavior.
For it to be categorized as a disease, I think is somewhat of a stretch. In my mind, I put alcoholism and dependence more as a personality disorder than a disease. My concern with the term disease, however, really is from how the patients perceive it. Not all, but a subset of people who are alcoholics and are said that they have a disease tend to hide behind that term and use that as an excuse and not tackle their problems head on.
I did a research project on it in high school, whether or not alcoholism was in fact a disease, because I noticed that people called it a disease a lot, but it didn't share the characteristics of any diseases. Alcoholism is a behavior. It's not a disease. The bottle does not open itself up and pour itself into your mouth. It's not how it works.
The prevailing dogma tells us that with addiction, you're either going to go through your life as an addict and probably die or end up in jail or in an institution, or you're going to be giving up ownership essentially of your own life's direction because you can't trust your stinking thinking. And you are going to have to surrender that to your sponsor or people who are helping you out and have continual support, and you can't really trust your own mind again because the disease is strong and it's going to lead you astray. So I think that's a serious problem. I don't agree with anything I just said. I was just trying to lay out the prevailing wisdom. I think a lot of people feel trapped by that, and that is a huge source of resentment for people.
I am responsible for anyone, anywhere, reaches out for help. I